Ilgar Hajiyev. He had a multi-billion-dollar company in Azerbaijan and Russia, and he lost to Putin regime and to Aliyev regime. And he has a question, but he doesn't speak English, so I'm going to translate.
Спасибо, здравствуйте. Хочу поблагодарить всех журналистов, которые борются с коррупцией.
I want to thank every one of you who's fighting corruption.
И хочу задать вопрос по Пандоре документам, которые раскрыли преступления алиевской семьи. И что дальше, как смотрит на это мировое сообщество? Алиев дальше продолжает работать со всем мировым сообществом, и никто не занимается продолжением расследования этого дела.
And I have a question about Pandora documents that was released about Aliyev's regime. And my question is what exactly is done about it, because everybody knows about it, and nothing is done because he's still in power.
Okay. Thank you.
Потому что напрямую бизнес, который мой забрали, на этих людях находится имущество, документы Пандоры. И я хочу знать судьбу и решение, что будет дальше, сообщество, как к этому относится, как люди получат свои активы обратно.
Because in these documents, Pandora, I know these people who took my business away, they have a lot of assets in different countries, and nothing has been done about it. I want to know how people are going to get their money back and what is done about it.
Thank you very much. We will come to your question. I'm just going to take a quick question, respond to that, and then also the investigation of the Western authorities.
On Azerbaijan, we've investigated Azerbaijan for many years, starting about 2010, at great risk for our reporters in the country. Khadija Ismailova, our dear colleague, was jailed. She was put under physical surveillance in the country. Then she had Pegasus infecting her devices, her phone, so she was followed everywhere. She kept on reporting. She has reported on Paradise Papers, Panama Papers, the laundromat, the Azerbaijani laundromat. And I believe as a result of that, the territory and the access that the Aliyev regime had with Europe and the US has shrunk. Probably not enough. And there are all these, unfortunately, backroom deals, especially for the resources of Azerbaijan that are done. But I see that the Aliyev regime and the accomplices of the Aliyev regime cannot do business as they've done before. Now, I'm sorry you haven't recovered your money yet. I hope you do. What we do is we pinpoint to the crime, we pinpoint to where the money goes, and if you have some information for us, I'd be very happy to receive it and to continue investigating. Just if you allow me on the investigating the investigative agencies, investigating the investigators. We are focused on organized crime and corruption, and this usually is transnational business. Now, fortunately, most law enforcement agencies are confined to national borders. So what we do is we investigate the crime itself, crimes that sometimes these agencies cannot investigate because they don't have the reach, or they don't have the will, or they are not allowed to. So we investigate where they don't investigate, and in the process, very often, we expose these agencies as well and their inefficiency.
Thank you very much. Frederick, you want to add to that, I think?
And if I may add, I mean, it is something that we speaking about investigative journalists at OCCRP and ICAJ and other groups are of course seeing. ICAJ even had a project called the FinCEN Files, looking at what is going wrong in exactly this country here. We also, like me speaking for Germany, we had a look at what is going wrong in Germany in this regard. So this is something that we have on our radar. We try to focus as much as possible on these structural problems. But I also want to this brings me back to a topic we already touched before. It's if we speak with investigators, with oversight organizations and authorities, they always point you out, especially when it comes to investigators, well, it always takes so long. Everything is transnational. We need information from the Cayman Islands. It takes us so long, and then if we want something from Panama, we have to go up our ministry. Then on the ministry level, they are speaking with Panama. It's informally, all those investigators will tell you one thing: is there's stuff that they know. They know ICAJ's homepage and what ICAJ has published and made public on their webpage, like the Panama Papers, Paradise Papers, structural information on the Pandora Papers. They know the investigative dashboard from OSCE, and they know basically all public registers. Unfortunately, it's not that many out there, but those public registries, they also have help investigators, because they can use them as well, and they can get rid of this like bureaucratic way of like having to send and sign long letters, and unfortunately sometimes it's still letters and not emails, so that makes it even slower.
And recently we heard that there was a challenge when the paper was European size when it comes to the US and vice versa, which really made me, wonder, can I take my moderator's liberty here and just add one thing that I believe really is also in relation to what Frank said. We hear, and for whether it's sincere or not, but there is no leader in Sub-Saharan Africa, Eastern Europe, increasingly now we look at Moldova and Bulgaria, who make anti-corruption their absolute core proposition. They talk about it 2 times a week in some sort of a public forum, domestically, internationally. From CEOs in companies, we say the tone from the top is all that determines it, right? I'm afraid I rarely, if ever, hear any of our Western European leaders, maybe at the exception of Joe Biden at the moment, make a public statement constantly and repeatedly about their commitment to fighting corruption, fighting financial crime, making sure their jurisdictions don't offer those loopholes. We expect that from leaders in the so-called corrupt countries, but we never hear it from our own leaders here. So the tone from the top, in my view, is missing. And that's why those investigators don't have the resources to do their work, and why they get frustrated when they have to go to the Cayman Islands. Apologies, I just needed to say that. Cecilia, do you want to respond to the shipping question?